Hello, fictional. Welcome to the What If Issei. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei was the red and white dragon emperor and got Harem Sona Serafall. Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Prologue. The red and white emperor's second chance at the new world. Note. Insert explanation here, my notes about some stuff and some references. In the name of Sona Sitri and Serafall Leviathan, I shall destroy you. Speak. Boost. Drag. Divide. Albion. Trace on. Using skills or ability. Man, I'm so bored I need to eat thoughts or talk via telepathy thing or something lol. The XD world, alternate world, a world without Ria's Gremory and some several characters. Somewhere in human world. Issei is fighting on Trihexa, the world he knew was destroyed, everyone he knew was killed by Trihexa. Heaven and Underworld were destroyed by Trihexa. The three factions and the rest of other mythologies like Norse were destroyed by Trihexa. Since heaven is destroyed, the system went haywire, since no one is maintaining it, due to that the human world is in a turmoil. Later on, they discovered about the supernatural. Later on, Trihexa came to the human world and destroy everything in his sight. Change Fang Blast. Welsh Blaster Bishop. Issei changed his form to Welsh Blaster Bishop, then he starts charging. Boost. 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 Boost, 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 boost. Issei had enough boost, then he fires Take This Dragon Blaster. The blast hits Trihexa, but that attack didn't make a scratch on it. Trihexa retaliates, he fires his breath. Damn it. Issei called his left hand Albion. Divide. 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 Divide, 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 divide. Issei tries to reduce Trihexa flames, but it wasn't enough. Wah. Trihexa flames hit him if he didn't use divide. Many times on Trihexa flames he would die instantly. Damn it. Issei is starting to fall, he was about to lose his conscience, and he starts to say his last words. Partner, wake up, we're not done yet. Kid, don't you dare die on us right now, you have to stand up. I can't move a muscle, sorry. Albion Drag, I regret that our strength wasn't enough to beat that monster. Issei was too weak to recover due to that attack. Kid, I have to tell you that you're the best host I ever had. I have to agree with Albion. Partner, we're glad you were our host, definitely the best one we had. Even though you're a pervert. Issei chuckled, says, well, sorry for being a perverted. Since this is the real me after all. Damn that I haven't get laid yet. Even you have that perverted personality, you're still the best host we had. Thanks. But I guess this is it. Sona Serafall, everyone forgive me. It seems I can't avenge your deaths. Issei went unconscious. Partner. Kid. Drag and Albion said in unison. While he was falling, there's a strange portal opens. Issei's body went in the portal. After that the portal is gone, and his homeworld completely was destroyed by Trihexa. The XD world, the world where Hyoudou Issei doesn't exist. Well, this where Issei went in, a few weeks before the actual canon starts. This will be the start of Divergence because of his presence, so I decided to skip Asia Rescue arc, but to Razor arc will be moved after the Kokabiel incident. Somewhere in Italy. Afternoon. Issei was dropped to the ground, his balance breaker was turned off, he was unconscious. Until there's a nun found him, obviously it's Asia. Oh my god, are you alright? The nun starts to heal him with her sacred gear, then she hears his mumbling. Sona Serafall, let me become your pawn again, Issei was mumbling while unconscious. After he said that, something strange happens to Issei. Meanwhile at Japan. How Academy Student Council room, night. Sona was about to finish her paperwork. Aside from that, she decided that she's going to recruit Sajij and Shiro as her pawn. Before she retires, something strange happened on her 8 pawns. My pawns? What's going on? Sona was confused, she has no idea what's going on. This the first time happens her pawns moving its own. Aichu, what's going on here? Tsubaki was surprised her master pawns are moving by its own. Sona says I don't know Tsubaki, my pawn starting to act on its own. The pawn starts glowing until the pawns disappear from their sight. Tsubaki noticed the pawns is gone at their sight. Kaichu, your pawns is gone. Sona is surprised her pawns was gone. No, my pawns. Meanwhile at Underworld. Serafall is resting on her shooting of TV show until her pawn starts acting strange. What's wrong, my cute pawns? Serafall is worried and surprised. This is the first time that her pawn's acting strangely. Until the pawn's glowing until it disappears from her sight. Nuo. My cute pawns are gone. Serafall was shocked her pawn or disappeared from her sight. Back at Issei. The nun was surprised what she sees until she saw the 8. Number 16 pawns was surrounding him until the pawns went inside of him until he grunts. Wah. Issei is hurt during the process until all the pawns went inside of him. The pain was stopped. The nun doesn't know what's going on until Issei's left hand glows. Girl, please heal him with your sacred gear. Drake asked the nun, speaking out in her language. The nun surprised she saw Issei's left hand is glowing. Who are you? She asked. We can talk to this later, girl, but please first heal my host and nurse him until he recovers. Drake begged the nun to heal him. The nun nods. Yes, I will help him. The girl starts healing him. While the nun heals him, the dragons are talking something on their mind. Drake, that nun has the twilight healing. What's going on here? Albion surprised since he recognized the girl since she high affiliate with the dragons like them. I don't know, Albion, it seems the portal sent us here, but this is very odd. This world is similar, we know, but it's strange that I can sense my other self here somewhere in this world. Drake was confused. Also, what's going on? That nun was supposed to be dead, but she's alive and well. I sense my other self here too, yet very far from her. I believe this world we shouldn't belong here, it's like we're in different world. Drake nods. I agree with you, Albion, this world is not the same we know yet. I don't feel the Trihexa. I believe in this world he's still sealed state. I see now, that makes sense since we see the nun is alive in this world, so that means his masters should be alive on this world too. Drake nods. Indeed, Albion, his masters is certainly alive in this world. Indeed, but I wonder those pieces came out of nowhere, went inside of our host. I guess those pieces belong to his masters, but I'm sure those two are going search for him sooner or later. That is a true, Albion, but we need to tell our host we shouldn't meet them yet since our host needs some adjustment here before going back to his masters, and I'm sure he will be surprised when he hears this news. Albion smirked. I'm sure of it, Drake. For now, since we're going to change everything here, which is starting from the nun, I should say we have a good head start here since the nun will be safe on our side now until she became a devil or not, since we giving her a choice. Indeed, but this time we're going face our counterpart and their host. I'm sure we will have a hard time to deal with them. Drake says the possible outcome. Albion agreed with him. Indeed, I wonder how powerful my counterpart and its host here. Drake smirked. If those two fighting each other, I'm sure my counterpart and its host would win against your weak counterpart. Albion was annoyed. Says Drake, we have an agreement here, remember. My bad. Sorry about that, Albion, I almost forgot our truce here while we're still on our current host. Drake apologized. Albion. 4 days later. Morning. Issei is awake. He was very hungry right now. He about to stand up until he noticed he saw the nun preparing her meal and he recognized her immediately. Asia. But how? Issei was surprised that Asia was alive, but how? Allow me to explain, partner, Drake told him. Drake, what's going here? I see Asia and she's alive, but how? Issei talked to him mentally. Partner, I know you're confused, and so are we also. We noticed that after you got your pieces back, Drake told him. My pieces? Wait, you mean my pawn pieces are back, but how? Sona and Sarah were killed before our last battle with Wait. Did I survive? Issei was noticed something just now. He survived that monster attack before he could speak again. Yes, they were dead and we fought that monster until to the bitter end we thought that you were dead, but you ended unconscious until the strange portal appears during your fall. Wait, what a portal? Don't tell me, guys, did we go back in time? Issei want to assure something first. Drake says you're half correct, partner, but this isn't the world we know. Let's just say we're in the another world. You mean like a parallel world? Issei said. Drake nods. Yes, we might face several people we know and we don't know from this world, so we better prepare for the worst case scenario, since in this world that monster seems is in the sealed state, so we better prepare ourselves when we get there. Issei nods. I see, we better prepare ourselves then before we go back to them, since they are not the same people I met. Fine, I will do my best. This time will be different. I will prevent that monster from being unsealed this time. Albion nods. We better get stronger, kid, before that incident comes. Indeed, there's a chance we might face our counterparts and their host. Drake added. Issei is surprised. I didn't sign up for this to face your counterparts and their host. We might be stronger than them, but I won't let my guard down when I encounter either those two. I hope it won't happen. Issei completely understands the situation, and then he noticed Asia was staring at him with concern. Asia asked, are you alright? Issei nodded. Yay, thanks for taking care of me, Asia. Asia was surprised that he knew her name. How did you know my name? My sacred gear told me my name is Hyoudou. Issei greeted her. My name Asia Argento, nice to meet you, Issei-san. Asia greets him. Thank you for taking care of me, Asia. Issei thank her. Asia smiled on him. Thank goodness you're okay, it seems God saves you from dying. Issei gets a headache, mumbled, ow. Even at this world they still have that system. Asia noticed Issei got a headache and she was worried. Are you okay, Issei-san? Issei nods. Yes Asia, I'm fine. Since I'm a devil my head hurts if I heard that kind of words. Issei just said the truth, it's not his style to lie, especially to her. Asia stepped back. Issei-san is a devil. Issei answers her question. Yes, I'm a devil. Asia, are you afraid of me? Asia was frightened and she asked, no, are you going to kill me? Issei shook his head. I wouldn't hurt you, Asia, since you saved my life and you're my friend. Asia surprised. You consider me as your friend, Issei-san? Issei nodded. Of course Asia, I'm your friend and I won't even dare hurt you. He said it happily. Asia smiles. Thank you, Issei-san, for being my first friend. Asia is a friend I swear will protect you from bad people. Even from that bastard Diodora Astaroth and Shalba Beelzebub. Issei remembers that Diodora is the reason why Asia went exile from the church and kidnapped her during the raiding game, yet sabotaged by Kuoh's brigade, and Shalba for almost ruined his life when he throws Asia on the dimensional gap that forced him to use Juggernaut Drive from. The first time that almost lose his life. Asia, I want you to come with me. I know that you've been exiled by the church. If you want more friends, I know a place for us to live. Asia was surprised, says, how did you know I've been exiled from the church? Issei answers her question. I've been hearing around the country that you were been labeled as a heretic because you heal a devil, those hypocrites. Because that reason, honestly Asia, you just did the right thing. Issei couldn't tell her the truth that he's from the alternate world yet, but he will tell her sooner or later. Thank you, Issei-san. Asia thank him. So Asia, are you coming with me? Issei asked her again. Asia happily replies, yes, I'm coming with you. But since while we travel I'm going to teach you some good magic. I will be in your care, Issei-san. Okay then, let's to France. And thus Issei and Asia travels together until they reach Japan. Meanwhile on the underworld. Ajuka's lab. Ajuka was surprised on the news that Serafall and her little sister's pawns went missing. Serafall says, so Ajuka-chan, did you find out something about our missing pawns? Ajuka replies, not yet Sera-chan, this the first time happened for both you. Sona asked, is it possible that our pawns use our servant by its own? Ajuka said, that is possible, but 16 pawns on a single person is most likely impossible, but I'm not going to remove that theory. If that is true, I wouldn't be surprised that you two will have a shared pawn at your peerage from the first time, since we have no history of shared servants. Serafall was surprised. Is that really possible? I and Sotan have a shared servant. Sona was annoyed. Stop calling me that, Unveiling-sama. Serafall chuckled. Aw, don't be like that, Sotan. Please don't add tan on it, Unveiling-sama. Sona is very annoyed at her childish behavior. Serafall replies, but I like calling you that. Moo. Sona was ashamed for her big sister childish behavior. Ajuka seems it went too off topic. As for your question, Sera-chan, yes, it's highly possible to have a shared servant as long at the same piece. I've been wondering why 16 pawns, is that person really powerful to be reincarnated? Sona was curious. Serafall was concerned about this too, and she thinks the possible reasons, unless that person holds 2 Longinus type sacred gears. Ajuka was surprised about this possible reasons the user could have 2 Longinus sacred gears, but it's impossible since there's no history about 2 sacred gears wielder on a single host. Sona is also surprised about possible reasons her new pawn could have not 1 but 2 Longinus sacred gears. The question, what kind of sacred gears that person hold right now? Prologue end. 2 months later. Kuoh City. Cow, I really miss this place even though it's not the same. Issei frowned. Issei has returned from Kuoh, but it's not the same for him since he didn't exist in this world, so he needs some adjustments here before he can feel like at home again. Is something wrong, Ai-san? Asia asked him with concern. Issei shook his head. No Asia, I just feel like I don't belong here. Remember what I told you, right? Asia nodded. Yes, I understand that you didn't exist from this world, but Ai-san, please make this world as your second home. Issei told her about his existence and his origins, including God's death, yet he didn't tell her everything, he just told her a few things about his life. Issei decided to forget those painful memories and replace it a new one in order to move on. Issei nods. I know this world will become my second home sooner or later. Until he saw a barrier surrounded a Kuoh Academy. Issei went panicked. This isn't good, Asia, we better head at the academy now. Asia nodded. Yes, Ai-san. Issei called Albion, let's fly. Albion nodded on his mind and says, you got it, kid. Issei shouts, balance break. Divine dividing. Scale mail. Issei carries Asia in by a bridal carry. Let's go, Asia. Yes, Asia hugs him tight to make sure she won't fall, and Issei starts flying fast to Kuoh Academy. While Issei flying towards to the academy, Sona Serafall, your future beloved and strongest pawn has arrived. Said in thought. Kuoh Academy, outside. Yui Katagawa Pav, well, I decided that boosted gear host to be a girl, and yes, her name base and her looks on to love Rue, and she has that tsundere tendency lol, but it will not be seen in the later chapters and her behavior quite different. Another note. She was recruited in a civil way. Ryu-senpai. We have covered the school with a large barrier. With this, unless something disastrous happens, there will be no damage outside. Ura-san reported the current situation to Butchu. We, the Occult Research Club and the Student Council, had gathered at the park located right in front of Kuoh Academy. But Kiba-san wasn't here. Where are you, Kiba-san? Ura-san from the Student Council was explaining about the barrier to Butchu. According to her story, Sauna Shitori Senpai, yet her real name is Sona Sitri, is the Kaichu, Student Council president, has gathered everyone from the Student Council and put a big barrier on the school after she heard the situation from Butchu. It was a measure used to keep the things occurring inside from leaking outside. The opponent was one of the leaders of the fallen angels who appeared in the Bible and books. Kaichu says this is to keep it to the minimum. To tell you the truth, if Kokabiel were to fight seriously, not only this academy but the whole region would be annihilated. Adding to that, he has already gotten ready for that. My servant has seen him releasing his power on the school grounds. Why, I became speechless at Kaichu's words. Are you serious? We are talking about something that big, so it meant he was someone that serious. He seriously was a troublesome fallen angel leader. He was going to destroy my hometown because he wanted to do what he wished, which was to start a stupid war. This is bullshit. Don't beep around, you shitty fallen angel. I won't let you do as you please. I'm planning to live and enjoy my life in this town with everyone. My anger was at its max, and Kaichu continued to explain. My servants and I will continue to place the barrier to reduce the damages. I want to minimize the damages as much as possible. It's hard to prevent having our school getting damaged. But it looks like we have to, since it's the leader of the fallen angels who is moving. Kaichu made a sharp eye and looked in the direction of the school with eyes filled with hatred. She was probably directing it to Kokabiel. Then it was confirmed that the school would get damaged. The school we go to. Butchu smiled. Thank you, Sona. We will do the rest from here. Kaichu tells her Rias. Our enemy is a monster with strength above ours. It's still not too late. We should get your Oni-sama. Butchu shook her head. Why you didn't call your Oni-sama? Well, my Oni-sama is your Oni-sama loves you. Surzage-sama will definitely move. So for some reason Kaichu why she didn't call her sister. I have already informed Surzage-sama, Akeno-san said it over Butchu and Kaichu words. Akeno. Butchu criticized her. But Akeno-san had an angry expression. Rias. I know that you don't want to cause problems for Surzage-sama. It happened in your territory. In your base. And it happened after the family problem. But it's a different story if the leader of the enemy appears. It is a problem that surpasses the level that you can solve. Let's borrow the strength of Amau. This is the first time seeing Akeno-san telling Butchu off. But just as I thought, Akeno-san calls her Rias during private times and talks casually towards her. Butchu seemed like she wanted to say something. But she took a deep breath and nodded. Akeno-san put on her usual smiley face after she saw her. Thank you for understanding the situation, Butchu. Sona-sama. Surzage-sama's reinforcement will be here in 1 hour. 1 hour, I understand. In that time, we, the student council, will vow to continue to place the barriers in the name of Sitri. Sona said it with determination. Butchu seemed like she had made her decision as well after hearing Kaichu's decision. So 1 hour. Now my servants. We will be on the offensive. We will go inside the barrier and draw Kokabiel as our first battle of life and death. Even so, I will not forgive you if you die. We will survive and continue to attend that school. Yes. We replied to her with energetic voices. Leave it to me, partner. Our opponent is Kokabiel. He's not an insufficient opponent. Let's show him. A few minutes later, still at Yui's Pav inside the academy, after Kiba gained his balance breaker and Zenobia summons her Durandal. But seeing that even after losing the masters you serve, you devils and followers of God can still fight, huh? Suddenly Kokabiel spoke. What was he trying to say? What do you mean? Butchu asked with doubt. Kokabiel started laughing aloud as if he found it truly amusing. Phew-ha-ha. That's right. I totally forgot. The truth wasn't revealed to you weaklings. Then I will tell you. In the war between the three sides, not only the Yondai Mayu but also God died. What did he just say? Everyone here was shocked and couldn't believe what he just said. It's normal for you guys do not know about it. Who can say that God has died? Humans are an incomplete bunch. Without God, they cannot control their hearts and obey the laws, you know. Even us, the fallen angels and devils couldn't tell this to those below us. You won't know where the information about God will be leaked from. Even among the three powers, only the people at the top and certain people know about it. Though it seems Balba noticed it earlier. God didn't exist anymore. No, that couldn't be, it was impossible. Then what did we believe in while living in that institute? After the war, what was left were the angels who had lost their god, the devils that lost their Mau, and the majority of high-class devils, and the fallen angels who lost most of the fallen angels apart from the leaders. So it wasn't a mere exhausted state. All of the factions fell so low that they had to rely on humans to continue their generations. Especially the angels and fallen angels that could only continue their generation by mating with humans. Fallen angels can increase if the angels fall. But pure angels can't increase their numbers after losing God. Even pure devils are rare, right? Kokabiel said it arrogantly. Lies, it's a lie. Slightly further away from me, Zenobia seemed like she started losing strength. She had a panicked expression that was too unbearable to look at. The active believer. God's servant. A person who lived by serving God is her mission. If the existence of God was rejected and she lost the means to live. Kokabiel says the truth is that another big war wouldn't happen unless you do it on purpose. It means that all three sides went through hell in the past war. Everyone decided that it was meaningless to continue having a war if the start of it all, God and the Mau, were dead. Even that bastard Azazel declared that there is no second war after losing the majority of his men in the war. It's hard to bear. It truly is hard to bear. To lower your gun once you already shot it. Don't beep around. Don't beep around. If we continued on from there, we could have won. Even so, is there any value in fallen angels who can only live by inviting humans who possess sacred gears? Kokabiel declared his argument strongly. His face was expressing anger. The real truth made an impact on us more than we thought. I will destroy you, Kokabiel, in the name of Ria's Gremory. I was really utterly mad at this bastard right now. It's the first time I saw a Sekiryuite who releases its power just by such determination. What are you? Who are you? Kokabiel asked while narrowing his eyes. I'm the pawn of Ria's Gremories. Katagawa Yui. Remember that, Kokabiel. I'm the possessor of a boosted gear. Until a moment ago, this area was filled with despair. I was about ready myself to fight this stupid fallen. Until someone came. Kokabiel. A brown-haired boy appears out of nowhere along with a blonde girl. Third person Pav. Kokabiel. Issei shouts his name. Who are you, lowly devil? Kokabiel asked him in arrogant tone. I'm Hyoudou Issei, pawn of Sona Sitri and Serafall Leviathan. Prepare yourself. Issei was move forward to Kokabiel. Note. This one will be explained in the next chapter how Issei learned about Serafall's status on Underworld before he fight this warmonger. A servant of Sitri and Leviathan, eh? Interesting, very well, I shall destroy you. Kokabiel starts summoning his holy spears. Issei look at Asia and he says, Asia, heal everyone here, this battle will be over soon, while he's still moving towards to Kokabiel. Asia nodded, yes, I-san. Ria's and her peerage surprised this boy is Sona and her sister's pawn, while Zenobia still in shock about God's death. Ria says Sona never told me she has a shared pawn with her one-sama. Do you have an idea on this, Akeno? Akeno said, no, I heard that Sona-sama pawns was missing 2 months ago, and at the same time happens to Serafall-sama pawns went missing too. Ria's understands. I see why he just shows up just now. Yui was annoyed and says, darn, I was about to get serious, then that guy appears went out of nowhere. Akeno chuckled, Yufufufu, don't worry Yui-chan, you will have your moment. Is everyone alright? Asia asked them. Ria's and her peerage looked at her. Akeno nods, yes, we're fine, but those three need some healing, please help them, points at Kiba and Zenobia. Asia nodded, starts healing Akiba and Zenobia. Akeno was surprised what Asia's doing, and she asked her, do you have a sacred gear? Asia nodded, yes, my sacred gear is Twilight Healing. I-san told me I can heal everyone including devils. Riaz was surprised about Asia's sacred gear, and she asks Twilight Healing, Asia-san, are you still a human? Asia replies, yes, I'm still a human. I-san told me, given me a choice if I want to stay human or become a devil. I see. Riaz was pleased that she found her potential servant as a bishop, while her thought says after this incident is over, I need to talk to him. I-san, please be careful, Asia said at worried tone. Back to Issei. Let's do this. Kokabiel trance on. Issei summons his weapon. The weapon he summoned is a solar sword, based on Ragnarok Online. So it's that your sacred gear? Kokabiel said at unamused tone. Issei shook his and say, no, it's not. You're not worth to see my sacred gears yet. But I give you a hint, I have 2 of the 13 Longinus in my hands. Riaz and her peerage surprised the revelation that Issei has 2 Longinus sacred gear. They want to ask him, but they have to save the questions later after Kokabiel is defeated. Kokabiel was amused and says, not worth to see your sacred gears, eh? I was curious what sacred gears you have. He throws his holy spear. Issei blocked it and he mocks you called it an attack, please put some more effort, you stupid warmonger. Very well then Kokabiel throws another but stronger holy spear. Issei avoids it now that's more like it. He starts to chant something and he says Rain yo, Wagayeba Tenerite to Tiki Ot Suranuk, O darkened storm cloud, loose thy blade and run mine enemies through, thunder blade. Issei has finished his magic incantation. A thunder-shaped blade appears out of nowhere before it hits the ground. Kokabiel steps back a bit to avoid that attack, but he didn't notice that the moment the thunder hits the ground, it will give him a shock in a small radius. Kokabiel grunts receives shock from Issei's thunder blade. Issei smirked that he hits him even though it's not a direct hit. Stepping back a bit is a huge mistake. Kokabiel. Issei starts to chant magic attack. The Kendo was turned on that mysterious thunder spell. Ara that spell is making me hot, I wonder if he can teach me that spell. Pseudo Karaki Hanu Yo, Yutaj Kyaku O Senritsu no Yuta Demuki Montanus, Flames of Gathering Darkness, welcome our invited guests to your banquet and entertain them with your song of horror. Bloody howling. Issei finished his chant. The dark orb appears at Kokabiel, then howling dark shades came out of the orb. Kokabiel jumped far away from the dark orbs. That was a close one. So you have lightning and dark magic, you amused me, kid, I won't let my guard down this time. He throws another holy spear. Issei dodged the spear, he was annoyed that his spell is missed, don't worry there are more things to come, he starts to chant another spell again. Riaz was surprised on that spell, and she thought on her mind says wow. That magic seems so powerful I want to learn it from him. Yui's sacred gear shocked was how this possible. What's going here? Yui was confused and she asked, Drake is something wrong? Yes there is a problem here partner well that boy has me and the white one. Yui was surprised what are you talking about Drake care to clarify that. What I'm saying is that guy have my boosted gear and the white one's divine dividing. Yui was shocked and says you mean that guy has your boosted gear and your rival's divine dividing you can't be serious about that DTRAIG. What? Everyone says, except for Asia and Issei. Riaz and her peerage were surprised including Kokabiel that Issei has possessed boosted gear and divine dividing. Riaz managed to recover first, but how is that possible? Issei's drag frowned it seems my counterpart notice us partner. I'll be inside. Well so much for concealing us. Issei frowned he stopped his chant oh man you exposed my secrets oh well it's true I have booster gear and divine dividing, but this sacred gears I hold is the real thing, for now, we will talk about this later. Issei start to chant again. Tsunari Yari Yo, Juuni no Akashi to Tamoni Tsuranuk Holy Spear, pierce jointly with the testimony of 12. Holy Lance. Issei has finished his chant. The holy lance surrounds Kokabiel the lances starts raining at him, but he manages to evade all the lances. Kokabiel was frustrated this is unacceptable how a devil like you has holy magic. Issei says well I have my ways and I won't tell you how I managed to learn those spells, since you're going to die anyway. Issei charged him again. This time Issei is not playing his enemies anymore until he says trace on. He summons Dark Excalibur. I'm sure you recognize this weapon Kokabiel, Issei said it grimly. Kokabiel was shocked he saw the original Excalibur, but he senses that weapon is pure demonic what the? How can devil like you summon that weapon? Issei explained well, it's my natural ability before I become a devil's anyway, this is my ability called PROJECTION trace version, I can summon any weapons I want that includes legendary weapons, yet the power from the original weapon is still superior. So in other words this one is imitation, yet the power of the weapon I summon is almost the same, and yes I can change between holy and demonic the way I wanted. Kokabiel starting to get frightened by him due his absurd ability. Issei says this battle is over now time to end he starts to charge his attack. Kokabiel is starting to flee he was never been this frightened in his entire life. But Issei moved fast and he was in front of him. Cry out. It is time to fall to the ground, hammer of the vile king. Overturn the aurora. Swallow the light. Dark Excalibur. Issei fires a huge dark light on Kokabiel and obliterates him without hearing his scream. Issei relieved and says will you finally it's over guys well before we go into explanation, I need to talk to my master first. Sona and her peerages maintain the barrier until Yura notice something. Yura says fallen angels they're coming at us. Everyone noticed a large group of fallen angels coming at them. Liguri, Tsubaki, Yura keep them busy while Hanakai, Kusaka and I will maintain the barrier. Sona ordered them to repel those fallen angels while her and the bishops are maintaining the barrier. Yes Kaichu. Meguri, Tsubaki and Yura nodded as they received their order from Sona. One of the fallen shouts kill them. For Kokabiel-sama. Yura take the left, Meguri takes the right. I will handle them Tsubaki orders them. Yes, Fuku Kaichu. Two of them nodded after receiving orders from Tsubaki. Die. One of the fallen angel throws a holy spear. Arrogant fallen mirror Alice. Tsubaki used her sacred gear mirror Alice reflects the holy spear, bounced it back twice the power to the owner. Ah. The fallen got hit by own powered up holy spear and falls on the ground lifeless. And thus the student council begins a defense battle against the fallen angels. While the student council is defending the barrier, Issei and Asia are almost arrive at the academy. While they're flying, someone saw them. But the Albion, did you see what I see? The white-haired boy was shocked. He saw that guy flying on divine dividing scale mail from the distance. Yes, I see it, and it's very disturbing to see my other self and the red one on that guy. Albion says with disgust. The white-haired boy was surprised. What, that guy has the other you and the red one too? Albion says, as I hate to say, I sense my other self and the other red one on that person, and his power is above from us. The white-haired boy grinned. I see, this is more interesting. Albion, seeing red and white dragon emperor for the first time. Well, the red one is on that barrier inside fighting Kokabiel. Let's observe them for a while. I'm sure that guy will give Kokabiel, and the red one gets a beating. Very well then, I wonder how long the red one and the fallen warmonger will last against him. Albion was curious how the Kokabiel and the red one will deal with red and white dragon emperor. They don't know that Issei noticed them too. Albion, you noticed them, right? Issei talked to them via telepathy. Albion replies, yes kid, I noticed them, but I'm sure that they noticed us too, yet they didn't move. I can guess his host wants to observe us. How we going to deal with the fallen warmonger and the red one? And do you think I will fight the red one too, Albion? Honestly, I highly doubt that will happen since the red will be our side. Issei was assured that he won't deal the red dragon emperor empress. His lecherous face shows up. I wonder if the drag of this world host is a girl. If it's a girl, I'm sure her oppai is could be big. Partner, don't tell me you have perverted thoughts on my counterpart host if is a girl. Drake said in an annoyed tone. Of course, not Drake, why I should do that? Issei lied about it. Don't you dare to lie to me, partner. If you think I didn't know that face of yours has perverted thoughts on the girls, I don't mind that, but if it's my counterpart host, I won't forgive you. Drake said in angered tone. Issei frowned and says, okay fine, I admit that I did have perverted thoughts. If your counterpart host is a girl, so why not? I'm a healthy boy, have desires, you know. I really hate for that kind of reason, you idiot. Why do I end up a perverted host like you? Drake is very annoyed at him. Issei complained, well, sorry for being perverted, Drake. This is me, after all, that will never change. Albion says, even though he's perverted Drake, he's the best host we ever had. Drake frowned. TSK. I can't argue with that, Albion. Sona's Pav. So far we managed to keep the barrier up while my knight, my rook, and my queen is busy fighting the fallen angels while I and my bishops are keeping the barrier up. I've been wondering since 2 months my pawns is gone missing at the same time when Isama pawns went missing too. After we visited Yukamau-sama lab, we said about the incident. It gave us no result, yet it's a rare case due to our pawns decided to choose a servant for us until one Isama said the possible reason whoever holds our pawns will be held by one person and wield 2 of the 13 Longinus type sacred. Here's the question is, where is our pawn right now when all the time I really need his or her assistance right now? My peerage is starting to show fatigue and tiredness, including myself. Since those fallen angels are attacking the barrier, they force us to use more energy until we ran out. This is bad. We need to hold the line until Ryazani-sama came to assist us, until one of the fallen angels tries to aim us, but it was prevented thanks to my rook. Haichu, are you alright? Yura asked me if I'm fine. I said to her, yes, I'm okay Yura, just don't let them aim at us. My rook nodded, yes Kaichu. And she goes back attacking the fallen angels while protecting us. My bishop Momo Hanakai is almost reached her limit. Kaichu, I'm almost reached my limit. Those fallen angels are keep attacking barrier, we need to prevent them from attacking it. I give my peerage new orders. Tsubaki, Tsubasa, Meguri, don't let the fallen angels attack our barrier, they will force to us to more power until we reach our limit. Is that clear? Yes, Kaichu. 3 of them nodded, they accepted my new orders. I gave her phoenix tears to Hanakai to recovers her fatigue. Thanks Kaichu, my bishop drank the phoenix tears. I asked my other bishop Kusaka, are you okay? I have another tear, do you need it? My bishop shook her head and say, no Kaichu, not yet, I'm still fine. Damn, we're in a tight situation. Were you my pawn? If I die here I'm going to castrate you in the afterlife. I was very desperate, I really need my pawn's assistance right now. Until I saw a boy with short brown spiky hair and a girl with blonde hair coming to us. He said, sorry to keep you waiting Sona-sama, your pawn has arrived. My pawn? Finally, my pawn has finally arrived. Issei Pav. Damn, why my heart beating so fast? I know she's not the same Sona I know in my world, but damn, I really want to hug her so bad. I really missed her pretty face so much. For now, I better look cool at her for now, since I'm here I need to deal these fallen angels. Asia, heal everyone here while I'm going to deal those crows. I called Asia to heal her peerage. She nodded and says yes, but first I need to cast support magic on them to keep their energy up, but first I need your permission, I-san. I frowned and I said to her, Asia, you don't need my permission to use your support magic. Just use it freely. She happily replies, yes, everyone gets near me. She began to chant her spell. Sona says Tsubaki, Tsubasa, Meguri fold back. Her queen, rook, and knight understands they fold back within Asia range of magic circle. Sumyajishi wa huiyu, Shogun Neru Daichi nai Madarasa Ren Hikari no Kaseki nai Imame wo Adiuru. Strands of embrace, give a name to the luminosity that began this majestic land. Revitalize. Asia just finished her spell. The large healing circle appears us everyone got healed after a few seconds. This healing magic is great, I feel good as new. Yura-chan smirked. Wow, your healing magic is great. It's better than the Phoenix Tears. Meguri-san said it cheerfully. Indeed, this spell is more effective than Phoenix Tears. Tsubaki-san feel amazed on Asia's support magic. I hope I can learn that spell from you. Asia-san. Kusaka-san wants to learn that spell, well, she's a bishop after all. Me too, I want to learn that spell too. Momo-chan said it happily. Well, in my original world this spell I originally learned from you, Momo-chan, well this time I need to teach you to use this spell again, man, our rules switched. Such a wonderful spell you got there. Sona Kaichu was very pleased. Asia say I'm not done yet, Magnificat. Based on Ragnarok Online priest skill, this magic thanks to Kusanagi-san, another female Akagen, for teaching her of the spells. I bet the girls noticed that their energy recovers faster than the usual. This is amazing. My energy is recovering much faster. Momo-chan feels relieved because of her energy was coming back to her. Indeed, this spell made us refreshing. Aside from healing, we've been recovering our magic much faster. Kusaka-sen was feel relieved due to Asia's magic. Thank you, Asia-sen, we really needed this. Sona feels relaxed that her energy recovers faster. Asia was pleased that everyone likes her spell. Well, I can't tell them right now that her spell she learned is from the fallen angels we met in Europe. Third person Pav. Okay, let's do this. Drake. Albion. Issei calls his sacred gears. Divide. The fallen angels felt their power were shaved into half due to Albion's single divide. Boost. Sona was shocked her pawn has boosted gear and divine dividing, and her though says so this is our shared pawn with One-Isama. I can't believe that One-Isama was right about that our pawn would have two Longinus type sacred gears, but I never expect he would have the boosted gear and divine dividing, but how? Katagawa-sen is the current Red Dragon Emperor, I mean Empress. You have the boosted gear and divine dividing, but how? Tsubaki was shocked since Ria's pawn has the Red Dragon Empress, but this guy is the Red and White Dragon Emperor. This is amazing, our new friend is the Red and White Dragon Emperor is on our side. Yura was out of their new comrade. Momo curiously asked, but is that possible? Katagawa-sen is the Red Dragon Empress at Ria-senpai's peerage. Issei asked Ria-senpai. Well, his other though says he Red Dragon Empress, that means Drake's counterpart host is a girl. Her name is Ria's Gremory, she's a high-class devil like Kaichu, she belongs to the Gremory clan. Momo answers to Issei question. Gremory clan? What the wait a sec, that means on this world Surziches has a little sister. Issei was mentally shocked, he just find out on this world Surziches has a little sister. Is something wrong? What's your name again? Meguri asked. He just realized just now he forgot to introduce himself. Crap, I almost completely forgot introduced myself. My name is Hyoudou. Issei, call me Issei or Ice. He happily introduced himself. Pleased to meet you, Issei-kun. I'm Tomo Meguri, Kaichu's knight. Meguri greets him. I'm Momo Hanakai, Kaichu's bishop. Pleased to meet you, Ice-kun. Momo smiles at him. Yura Tsubasa, Kaichu's rook. Yura greet him. Tsubaki Shinra, Kaichu's queen. Tsubaki greet him. Almost everyone greets him except do I need to introduce to your king? Sona asked. Issei shook his head and he says you don't need a Kaichu, I know you very well, you're Sona Sitri, younger sister of Serafall Sitri. Did I miss something? Yes, you really did miss something, Hyoudou-kun. I'm the current heiress of the Sitri clan, and my sister current name is Serafall Leviathan, one of the Yondai Mau. Sona said it in serious tone. Issei was surprised and his thought says Sera is a Mau on this world, I guess they won the civil war and she took the title of Leviathan. Sona is the heiress of her family, also she calls me Hyoudou-kun. Well, that ain't a bad start until she calls me Ice again. Is something wrong, Hyoudou-kun? Sona asked him. Issei shook his head. No Kaichu, are you engaged on someone? He said in a serious tone. Sona and her peerage was surprised on this question and her answer no. Why do you ask? Sona was curious why he asks that. Well, to be honest, Kaichu, if you were forced to marry someone you don't like, I will gladly stop that arranged marriage for you. If I'm correct, you want someone who's smarter than you and loves you, not a Sona for the Sitri clan, but is Sona right? Issei was blushed on the last part. Sona was blushed and her thought says how did he know that? I never met him before, but he said he knows me very well. What are you, Hyoudou? Issei? Tsubaki was surprised too how Hyoudou-kun knows that's her critique. The man she likes. Your mysterious Hyoudou-kun, it seems you know Kaichu more than us. Issei decided to change the subject. This is my companion during my travels, Asia Argento. Asia greeted them. Nice to meet you everyone, I'm Asia Argento, please call me Asia. Sona says nice to meet you too Asia-san, we really appreciate you heal us with your support magic. If you don't mind, after this event I would like to learn those support magic if you don't mind. Asia said, I have no experience teaching someone, but I will try since some of my spells I learned is from Ai-san, and some of them I learned it from a fallen angel during our travel with Ai-san. Sona was surprised that her pawn knows magic spells. Not only that, Asia has learned it from the fallen angel, until she asks you learned magic from a fallen angel. Asia nodded and says yes, they were good people to teach me the support spells and a few offensive spells I learned from Ai-san. He was a good teacher, I learned a few holy spells from him. Kusaka surprised and asked her Hyoudou-kun can use those spells too. Asia nodded yes, he can do that, but he told me he can use any kind of elemental spells, yet every time we encounter several rogue fallen angels and stray devils during our travel he mostly uses his thunder spells. Sona understands, I see. Meguri says everyone is, it seems the fallen are mad at us, we've been ignoring them for a long. The fallen angels are utterly pissed right now for ignoring them so much. Let me handle this ladies, but first. Divide. The fallen angels felt weaker again due his divine dividing. It's time to taste of one my ultimate spells. Then Issei start to chant his spell. And he says Hajimari no Tokyo Futatabi Kizumtari, the time of origin carves once again collapse. Big bang. As he finished his chant, the fallen angels feel a sudden burst on their surrounding. The next they knew they were obliterated, no screams were heard, the feathers scattered everywhere. I can't believe it, he really did obliterate them all in one swoop. Yura was awed by his power. Aichu, it seems he really handled them. Meguri was very impressed of his magic. Sona was surprised what her pawn could do, and until she asks, tell me Hyoudou-kun, did you hold back? She want to know if he held back on that spell he used. Issei starts scratching his head and he says yes Kaichu, I did hold back a bit since Big Bang is my weakest ultimate magic spells. Sona was speechless when he said that his spell is one of the weakest ultimate spell he used. Her thought says he really is worth of 16 pawns. Unveiling, it seems we have found our strongest pawn. Tsubaki was shocked that he held back on that spell he used, weakest ultimate magic spell. You can't be serious Hyoudou-kun. I'm serious Tsubaki-san, out of my 10 ultimate magic spells Big Bang is my weakest ultimate spells, despite it has large scale magic, since my strongest ultimate large scale magic is Mystic Cage, I ranked it as my 4th strongest spells, Issei said it in a serious tone. Kusaka and Meguri was shocked about this. How strong are you Ice-kun? Momo asks. Leave it your imagination Momo-chan. Issei smiles. Before we forget something Hyoudou-kun, we need you to assist my friend inside the barrier, they are dealing with Kokabiel, a cadre of the fallen angels. Sona changed the topic. Issei smirked and he says you don't need to tell me because I will gladly do it for you Sotan. He intendedly calls her unwanted nickname from her sister. Sona was flustered and embarrassed at the same time. Moo. Stop calling me Sotan Hyoudou-kun. Her thought says wait, how did he know that nickname? Sona's peerage was surprised that their king acted differently, it's like her Unveiling was here. I can't believe it Kaichu. Momo was still surprised at her king's behavior. Her strict behavior. Kusaka was shocked at her. Kaichu said very odd. Was simply diminished. Meguri never though her king acting this way. Issei-san. Yura was amazed her king was behavior was changed because of him. Tsubaki said out her mind says this is the first time she acted this way without her Unveiling's presence. You really are interesting person Hyoudou-kun. Issei tries to change the subject again. Open the barrier Kaichu, and everything will be settled after I beat the crap of that crow. Sona and her bishops opens the barrier when he's about to go in. Girls, you should go in too, I will reinforce the barrier so no one from outside will go in, only I can break it, Issei said. Everyone went inside the barrier. Kuoh Academy inside the barrier. Sona's pav again. That should do it. My pawn has done reinforced the barrier. I sense that his demonic energy is way higher than me being an high-class devil. It hurts my pride. Well, I don't mind if he was stronger than us. For some reason he shows his absolute loyalty to me. I wonder if he feels the same on Unveiling. Aside from that, I feel safe when I'm near with him since he's my and Unveiling shared pawn after all. Well, we're coming to assist Ria's. My pawn stopped moving and he saw. Read, my pawn saw that crazy exorcist unconscious. I believe Ria's knight beat him. My pawn starts to chant something and he said. Hideo, Tiki o Ketchirasu Hajishiki Sukai. Arise, O violent waters, to rout mine enemies. Bless drops. He finished his chant. I noticed he aimed the spell on the unconscious exorcist. He summons drops a large bubble onto the enemy, which then bursts into several smaller bubbles that deal multiple hits on the crazy exorcist within range. I hear a scream on the exorcist, that water spell will be fit for me, I wonder if he can teach me that spell. I'm sure that he has several water spells on his sleeve. Ah. What? The beep are you doing? You shitty devil. The crazy exorcist was awake and he's mortally wounded. It seems that spell really did a number on him. Right now he's immobilized. He ignored the crazy exorcist. My pawn cast another spell again. Bakushin kai wa genius or shiki kodo nai naru no ka. It would be really dreadful if you were in the middle of an explosion, don't you think? Explosion. He finished his chant. He summons a small ball of fire that is dropped from the sky, creating a massive explosion upon impact with the ground, and this is the last time I hear a scream from that crazy exorcist again. He was been obliterated. I in my peerage was surprised what my pawn did to the crazy exorcist. He just kills him without any remorse. Hyoudou-kun, why did you kill him? I ask him since I was curious why he acted that way. He says I don't like dealing with that psycho. We might face him in the near future, since that guy has a tendency of a peerage, so I decided to get rid of him to lessen our problem. My pawn made a wise decision to kill him, since the exorcist fought Ria's peerage before and he manages to escape during their assault on the abandoned church. He really has tendency of a peerage. He won't gonna bother us anymore. While we're moving I saw old man crawling out of his life. Alba Galilei, the genocide bishop. My rook look at him with disgust. Ria's told us about his knight's tragic story. After hearing it, my blood goes boil on that old man, and my pawn look at the genocide bishop. He starts chanting. Ikeo, Mijihinaru Hakijin no hu you receive, the merciless embrace of the silver snow. Absolute. He finished his chant. The freezing circle will appear below the genocide archbishop. The next thing happens. The ex-archbishop was frozen solid momentarily until the ice shatters into pieces. His ice magic is pretty impressive honestly. I wonder if Unveiling Issei sees this, I'm sure she will be impressed on his ice magic. I wonder how many spells he can use. That guy doesn't deserve to live for what he's done. That's my pawn said. My peerage is starting to afraid of him due to his recent actions. That his companion Asia doesn't fear him. I think she understands him why he did that. My pawn noticed my peerage are afraid of him. Girls, please don't be afraid of me. I wouldn't dare to hurt any one of you. He said it with concern. Everyone I-san is telling the truth. I was afraid too after he told me he was a devil, but he considered me as a friend and he won't dare hurt me as he said, so please everyone don't afraid of him. Asia was convincing them he won't hurt us. My peerage feel I relieve after they heard about her life with him. I know he wouldn't hurt us. Sorry for acting that way girls, since I have bad vibes on them. The moment I saw them my pawn apologized to them. Well, it's true those people are bad. It's okay, I understand you Hyoudou-kun. I understand his reasons why he kills them. Thank you for understand me Sona. He smiled at me. Wait till he calls me my name without honorifics. Sona. My peerage said it in unison. Did I say her name without honorifics? I'm sorry about that Kaichu. He apologized me why I don't feel mad at him the way he calls me. It makes my heartbeat go fast. Do I have feelings for him? But we just met recently. It's fine Hyoudou-kun, you will get used to it later. That's all I can say him. Okay girls, please wait here, just watch me destroy that cadre. This will be end soon, he said it confidently. Are you insane you Hyoudou-kun? I know that you're strong, but that guy is a different level. I was concerned and angry at the same time of the way he acts this way. He said no Kaichu, I'm not insane, I know what I'm doing, just trust me on this Kaichu. He held my shoulder. I won't lose to that cadre, trust me, this fight will be finished in few minutes. Then he smiled at me. Moo. This guy really knows how to calm me down. Asia, come with me, we're going to help Ria's Gremory and her peerage. I know they were exhausted dealing those dead Cerberus before they faced that warmonger. He told his companion to help my friend Ria's and her peerage. Yes, I-san. Both of them are moving toward to them and I need to observe him. How's he going to deal with the fallen cadre? Kokabiel. Man, I'm so bored, I need to eat. Thoughts or talk via telepathy thing or something lol. Again, this is the last little flashback, but this time we're still on Sona's POV when Issei starts to fight to Kokabiel till the end of this battle. After this we go back to the current time. Sona's POV. Who are you lowly devil? The cadre full in Kokabiel asked my pawn in arrogant tone. I'm Hyoudou Issei, pawn of Sona Sitri and Serafall Leviathan, prepare yourself. My pawn sure knows how to introduce himself and he really is my and Unveiling shared pawn. I hope you know what you're doing Hyoudou-kun. Let's do this Kokabiel trace on. My pawn summons a weapon and it's a sword. How is that possible? Don't tell me he has sword birth too. I examined it, the sword he summoned. Wait. I recognize that weapon, it's the solar sword, a special type fire element sword. But how he managed to get that weapon? So it's that your sacred gear? The cadre said in unamused tone. My pawn shook his head. No it's not. You're not worth to see my sacred gears yet. But I give you a hint, I have 2 of the 13 Longinus in my hands. I see it's not a sacred gear, but how did he summon that weapon? I'm sure Riaz and the others will be surprised the moment he shows his true sacred gears. My pawn managed to block the cadre's holy spear. I can't believe it, is that sword really that powerful to block an holy spear of a cadre? It seems my pawn knows what's he doing until he starts chanting a spell again. What kind element spell you going to use this time? Rain yo, Wagayeba Tenerite to Tiki O Tsuranuk, O darkened storm cloud, loose thy blade and run mine enemies through, thunder blade. My pawn has finished his chant. So this time it's a thunder spell, and a thunder-shaped blade appears in the sky. Before the thunder hits the ground, the cadre steps back a bit to avoid that attack. When the thunder hits the ground, it will give him a shock within a small radius. I see that spell has aftershock effect on the moment hits the ground. You are very interesting person, Hyoudou-kun. My pawn smirked, stepping back a bit is a huge mistake, Kokabiel. And then he chants another spell again. Pseudo Karaki Hanu Yo, Yutaj Kyaku O Senritsu no Yuta Demuki Montanus, Flames of Gathering Darkness, welcome our invited guests to your banquet and entertain them with your song of horror. Bloody howling. My pawn finished his chant again. Then I saw a dark orb appears at the cadre, then howling dark shades came out of the dark orb. I see this spell is a darkness, this is interesting, you show me water, fire, ice. Thunder and now darkness. The cadre jumps far away from the dark orb. He noticed that spell is very dangerous. This is amusing. The cadre has learned his lesson after he took it that spell called Thunderblade. So far so good until Katagawa-san shout out his secret. You mean that guy has your boosted gear and your rival's divine dividing? You can't be serious about that, DTRAIG. You better believe it, Katagawa-san. It seems I was very or extremely lucky to have him in my peerage, yet shared by one Isama. Well, it's not so bad. What? As everyone said, including the cadre and except for me, Asia-san and my peerage. He frowned. Oh man, you exposed my secrets. Oh well it's true, I have booster gear and divine dividing, but this sacred gears I hold is the real thing. For now, we will talk about this later. My pawn starts to chant a spell again. What spell you will pull this time? Sanari Yari Yo, Juuni no Akashi to Tamoni Tsuranuk, Holy Spear, pierce jointly with the testimony of 12. Holy Lance. As he finished his chant, the Holy Lance surrounds the cadre. The Holy Lances starts raining at him, but he manages to evade the all 12 lances. The cadre was frustrated. This is unacceptable, how a devil like you has holy magic. I was thinking the same thing, how did he pull that holy spell since he's a devil? Don't tell me he's fallen angel like a Keno-san. For now, I will ask him for that later. Well, I have my ways and I won't tell you how I managed to learn those spells, since you're going to die anyway. My pawn said in a serious tone. I see my pawn is not playing anymore until he says trace on. He summons another sword. This time it can't be that sword, it looks like the true Excalibur, but what I felt on this weapon is pure demonic. How did he manage to do that? The cadre was surprised what he saw. What the, how can devil like you summon that weapon? My pawn explained, well, it's my natural ability before I become a devil anyway. This is my ability called Projectio trace version. I can summon any weapons I want, that includes legendary weapons, yet the power from the original weapon is still superior. So in other words, this one is imitation, yet the power of the weapon I summon is almost the same, and yes, I can change between holy and demonic the way I wanted. This is absurd. He can summon any weapon he wants, either legendary or not, even though it's an imitation, yet the power is almost the same as the original weapon, adding that he can change the element of the weapon he summons. This is insane. I never thought my pawn to be so much powerful, adding that 2 Longinus type sacred gears on his arsenal. I'm starting to ask myself how will able I control him when he starts to disobey me and one Isama. This is too much for us. Until my pawn, this battle is over now, time to end. He starts to charge his attack. The cadre is starting to flee. He was never been this frightened in his entire life. But my pawn moves very fast and he was in front of him. Did he ever use a promotion? But I noticed he didn't use it. His speed was faster than Ria's Knight and Meguri. Cry out. It is time to fall to the ground, hammer of the vile king. Overturn the aurora. Swallow the light. Dark Excalibur. My pawn fires a huge dark light on the cadre and it starts to engulf and obliterates him without hearing his scream. He really killed the cadre without using his sacred gears. How powerful my pawn is. My pawn feels relieved and he says, "Will you finally, it's over." Well guys, before we go into explanation, I need to talk to my master first. Finally it's over. I guess it's time to explain my pawn about his abilities. Flashback over finally. Third person Pav. Note. I guess you noticed from chapter 2 Kaneko wasn't here during the incident. I decided that she was with Irina to watch over her, since Irina was unconscious after she was defeated by Freed and stole her Excalibur mimic in the process, also during the battle of Issei and Kokabiel. Thiba was unconscious while Zenobia was still in shock about God's death, so in other words, she didn't hear everyone on her surroundings. Sona and her peerage come out from their hiding, and that surprised everyone. Sona, what are doing here? How long you been there? Riaz asked her. We came together with my pawn before he faced the cadre. Sona answers her question. Riaz asked her again. I see, so is he really your shared pawn with your One-sama? Points at Issei. Sona nodded. Yes Riaz, he's my shared pawn with One-sama. He just arrived recently and saved us from a large group of fallen angels who attacked us while we maintaining the barrier. Riaz was surprised. She has no idea they were attacked outside the barrier. Yui asked, then who's maintaining outside the barrier right now? My pawn compensate to reinforce the barrier after he manages to obliterate all of them by himself before we came in here, Sona said. I see. Wait, did you say he obliterate a large group of fallen angels by himself? Akeno asked. Yura decided to answer Akeno's question. Yes he did, Akeno-senpai, he obliterate them by one of his weakest ultimate spells. Riaz and her peerage was surprised after Yura said. Riaz managed to recover first. You can't be serious, right Sona? She looks at Sona. Sona shook her head. It's the true Riaz, we really saw it how he obliterates them in one spell. Riaz says no way, he can't be that powerful. Akeno was surprised about it too, and she asked Sona-sama, what's your pawn name again? His name is Hyoudou Issei. Sona was reintroduced her pawn again. As Kaichu said, I'm Hyoudou Issei, you can call me Issei or Ice for friends, it's a pleasure to meet you Riaz Gremory and your peerage. Issei bows to them while his other thoughts said holy shit. This is Surzich's little sister, her eye is huge. Oh Satan-sama, thank you for the feast of my eye. Riaz smiled. The pleasure is mine Ice, I'm Riaz Gremory, heiress of the Gremory clan, please call me Riaz or Butchu. Happily introduce herself. I guess I can call you Ria-senpai for that, Issei said. Also, Akeno introduced herself. I'm her queen Akeno Himejima, pleased to meet you Ice-kun. Issei smiled. Pleased to meet you Akeno-senpai, while his other though says oh Satan. She got a huge rack too, like Ria-senpai, I'm so glad that I came in this world. Akeno asked, by the way Ice-kun, what are those spells you used earlier? I'm sure that's not an ordinary magic. Issei answers her question. Yes, they are not ordinary spells, since those spells are called fauna card. Riaz asked, fauna card? I never heard of that magic, I would be happy if you can explain a bit. Issei explains, well sure I can do that Ria-senpai, fauna card is an ancient lost magic, it's like you talking or taunt on your enemies, well you chant as I bet you noticed it right. Issei was suck at explaining things. Riaz nodded. Yes I noticed it, how did you manage to use that? Sona was curious too. I was very curious of those spells, can you care to explain Hyoudou-kun? Issei explains, well fauna card is very tricky one honestly, since it's like only a few selected people like myself and Asia, regardless their race for what I believe, who can use this spell without any issue. Akeno says, you mean that not anyone can use it freely unless that person is special? Issei said, honestly Akeno-sen, I don't know, since before I became devil I managed to cast a few spells, let's say some people have talent. I see, but I wonder if you can teach me several lightning and thunder spells if you don't mind. Akeno asked him seductively. She hugs him on the back. Issei felt her breast on his back. His though says, oh Satan, her breast is hitting my back. No, stay sane myself. I must stay sane. I must not submit from this because Sona is going to kill me the moment I give in. Issei tries to fight his perversion and he almost at his limit. Akeno, stop seducing Ice. Riaz shouted her. Akeno decided to let go of him. Why not, I was only asked my cute cowhide to teach me of those spells and I was so close to make him submit. Make him submit? What are you talking about Akeno? Sona was curious what she just said. Akeno explains to her, well your pawn managed to resist of my seducing and I know he's a pervert, he just managed to suppress it until Butchu stopped me. She said it lustfully. Issei said, I may be a pervert Akeno-senpai, but I know how to control myself. If I didn't, Kaichu is going to give me 1,000 spankings. That's something I don't want to feel. He remembers on his previous world Sona gave him a hell of a time to control his perversion and yet he had good memories with her. I see. Hyoudou-kun, you managed to suppress your perversion. I hope you won't disappoint me. Sona feels relieved her pawn can control his urges, she don't want to deal a hardcore pervert her peerage, and how did he know that punishment? Riaz asked Ice, is it possible to us to learn fauna card? Issei nodded, of course you can. Who say you couldn't, Ria-senpai? Actually, I was thinking to give Kaichu a fauna card lessons first before everyone else. Sona looks at him, why me Hyoudou-kun? Issei explains, well I have my priorities Kaichu, since you're my king before everyone else I know you want to learn several water spells from me. Sona smiled at him, I will gladly take those lessons that Hyoudou-kun. Riaz was surprised that Sona smiled. Sona, I didn't know you have interest from Ice. Sona stammered, wah. What are you talking about Riaz? Riaz teased, don't lie to me Sona, I know you like him. Issei decided to intervene, Ria-senpai please don't tease her anymore please. Ria says you're such a gentleman Ice. Issei said, I'm just doing my job Ria-sama since as her pawn, I will anything to protect her from harm. Sona was blushed on this comment. HMPH show off. Yui said it in white tone. Issei said sorry for ruining your moment Katagawa-sen I know you're mad at me, but honestly at your current level, you can't even scratch on him he said it at apologetic tone. Yui sighed and she asks I see, but the question is how did you have boosted gear and divine diving as your sacred gears? Ria's was curious too yes I want to know why did you have them? Sona asked I want to know it Hyoudou-kun. Issei said, sorry Kaicho I can't tell you because you wouldn't believe me if I told you about my true origin is. Asia says I-san is it okay if I'm the one will tell about your true origin to them? Issei said, go ahead Asia tell them I don't know if they can bear it. Ria says his origins. Asia nodded yes his true origins. Sona says Asia-san explain. Asia said, the truth is Issei-san doesn't belong to this world. Everyone was surprised at Asia said. Sona asked, how is that possible Asia-san? Asia was about to say something Issei decided to intervene, that's because I came from another world. Issei said it at serious tone. Ria said from another world. You mean that you're from a parallel world? Issei nodded yes Ria-senpai. Akeno asked, but how did you manage to get into this world Ice-kun? Issei answers honestly I don't know Akeno-san before I lose my consciousness the only thing I can say that my world was hell I lost everything, my friends, my family and my loved ones. He said in a sad tone, and he thought about the last part since he won't tell them about his harsh life on his homeworld. I'm sorry to ask that question, Akeno said at sad tone. Issei shook his head, it's okay Akeno-san to be honest since in my world I never met you or Ria-senpai and her peerage in my world, maybe you didn't exist on my homeworld, I guess that could be the difference between our worlds. Rias was surprised about his origins a world without me and my peerage. By the way, Ice who's your master at your previous world? Issei frowned Ria-senpai you can surely notice it right now. Ria said, you mean your previous world masters is Sona and Serafall-sama right? Issei nodded yes Ria-senpai they are the previous master of my homeworld due to their untimely passing, my evil pieces were unstable, yet I managed to survive because for them he couldn't bear to think about his previous. Sona, Sarah, Tsubaki, Asia, Yura, Momo, Aika, Meguri-san Murayama Katastauji-san Zeno-san everyone. Please forgive me I couldn't do anything. Issei named his friends at his previous world he was devastated he failed to protect them. Everyone went silent. Sona was devastated her thought says Hyoudou-kun. How did you manage to bear their deaths? It's so tragic. She had no idea her pawn tragic fate. Tsubaki was devastated about this news her thought says I can't believe that Hyoudou-kun was grieving our counterpart's deaths, how long he's been despair on his homeworld. Iris feels sad about Issei's tragic fate, her thought says Hyoudou-sen was part of Kaichu's counterpart peerage, he really cared our counterparts he was completely alone at his homeworld, how did he manage to stay sane for long? Momo felt the same thing I didn't know you were part of Kaichu's counterpart peerage no wonder you knew about us, but I didn't expect he was very lonely after our counterparts died her thought said. Asia was crying Issei tragic fate on his homeworld, no wonder why I-san really cares about us, he tries to forget his tragic fate her thought said. Uguri says Issei-san. She can't believe that her new friend has a tragic fate. Fusaka said Hyoudou-san. She may not exist on his world, but her new friend had a tragic fate on his previous homeworld. Issei tries to calm his emotions girls please don't pity me, I already accepted their fate and move on. Hyoudou-kun are you sure? Sona pats his shoulder. Issei smiled don't worry Kaichu I'm fine at least in this world has given me a second chance to live, well his other thought says this time I won't let anyone die on this world, I will prevent that monster to be unsealed. I'm so sorry to ask that sensitive question Ice I'm so sorry. Ria said at apologetic tone. It's okay Ria-senpai sooner or later everyone will know it. So I don't mind but please everyone don't tell this to anyone even to her Kaichu. Issei said it in serious tone. Sona nodded don't worry your secret is safe with us Hyoudou-kun she promised to her pawn that she won't tell to her One-sama. Everyone is nodded they decided to keep this a secret. Zenovia managed to recover from God's death she was about leaving, she's confused what to do with her life when she Issei heard says Zeno and. Hyoudou-san tell me woes is this Zeno you speak to? Zenovia asked. Zeno is? Issei was about to answer that question he looks at her first he starts chuckles. I see you're his counterpart I didn't expect that you're a girl from this world. Well his other thought says damn, I never expect Zeno's counterpart is a beauty look at her wonderful eye this world is awesome. Zenovia was surprised wait you mean at your previous world I'm a guy? She asked again. Issei nodded yes he's a guy yet at the same time was a close friend of mine he looks at her sword. I see you have Durandal that explains everything. So he's the same wielder as me I see did my counterpart knew? Zenovia asked him again. Issei says you mean God's death. Yes, he did. Nu was questioning about his faith too until that he decided to think unthinkable. Zenobia was curious what he did do. Issei decided not to answer her question. You better know it by yourself, Zenobia-san, since your counterpart choice he didn't regret. I see. Zenobia seemed satisfied with his answer when she was about left the academy until the barrier shatters into pieces. Everyone went into their battle stance. The white armor appears in front of them. Ria said Hakuryuku. Sona says I didn't expect this. Is he attracted to Sekiryuite or? Hakuryuku interrupt them. I came here only for the Kokabiel. Where is he? Issei says you're too late, white one. I killed him along his buddies. I guess you took a hard time for destroying that barrier. Yes. Sona was surprised. She never knew that he made that barrier so sturdy. Hakuryuku chuckled. Yes, it was. You really are interesting, red and white dragon emperor, and I noticed you never take action on the red one. Issei sighed. I ain't a battle maniac like you, white one, and besides, I don't harm my comrades here. Hakuryuku said interesting. I wonder how strong you are. He charged at Issei. Issei says you want to see my strength. Very well, then Albion, let's do this. Very well then kid, let's see my counterpart can do. Issei shouts balance break. Vanishing dragon, scale male. Hakuryuku says this is interesting. He fires a dragon shot. Issei avoided the shot too slow. He fires back dragon shot. Divide. Issei dragon shot vanished at the same time. He felt weak. Issei I forgot that he has you, Albion. Kid, honestly, I don't know if you dumb or something. Just use divide back on him, Albion groaned. Issei sighed. Oh right. Divide. Hakuryuku felt weaker. He lost 3/4 of his power. Trace on. Issei summons a sword and he threw at the white armor. This is interesting. You can summon akin to sword birth. Hakuryuku avoid the sword. Seriously, do you think you can hit me with that? Issei smirked. As a matter of fact. He was disappeared and reappear behind of Hakuryuku. He manages to hold the sword he threw earlier. What the? Hakuryuku was off guard. Since I can't hit you with a sword, but a dragon shot will do. Issei fires a dragon shot and he hits him. Ugh. Hakuryuku was hit. You've been underestimating me, Hakuryuku. Every weapon I threw and I used as a part of me dodging them is easy, but you have no idea what I can do next. How about this? Half dimension. All the object sizes and living things went half. Issei cast a spell. It's futile, Hakuryuku. Dispel. It cows this work lol. A spell's half dimension. Everything on their surrounding went back to normal. Hakuryuku was surprised his half dimension was cancelled by a single spell. How? No need to be surprised since I know how divine dividing works. Issei said. I see. Hakuryuku fires a dragon shot. Issei avoids it, then he attacks him at close range. Too slow. Take this Hyrangenyukin phantom dragon dance. Issei attacks with a quick punch and a barrage of flipping kicks, the final kick blazing with fire. Wow, I never knew Hyoudou-san is a good fighter. I wonder if he can teach me those moves, Yura said in thought. Hakuryuku grunts. Issei said, is that all you got? Gesture him to come on. This is interesting. You managed to hurt me, and it seems my balance breaker won't enough for you. I guess it's time to use. Issei interjects him. Even if you use the juggernaut drive. Oh please, you still can't beat me on that form honestly, since I already surpassed that one. He mocks at him. Hakuryuku smirked. This is interesting. You are very entertaining me, red and white dragon emperor. He almost about to charge him until. That's enough, Hakuryuku-kun, that's not a part of your mission. A female 8-winged fallen angel appears from the sky. Issei recognized her. Kuranai-san, what are you doing here? Everyone was surprised that Issei knew the 8-winged fallen angel. Kuranai smiled at him. Oh hi Issei-kun, it's been a while the last time we met. Issei said, yeah, it's been a month the last we saw each other. How's your little sister? Kuranai says, well, Natsumi is fine, yet she still wants you as his boyfriend. Issei said, I already told you that. Kuranai interject him. You have a thing for a girl with glasses with strict personality. Issei said, yes, that's my taste of the girl I really like. So beat. Oh shit, he said something he shouldn't say, especially in front of her. Everyone was surprised, except for Vali and Kuranai, about what kind of girl Issei likes, and Riaz and the others can to guess who it is. Riaz smirked. Oh, I never knew Ice likes that kind of girl. I wonder who she is. Everyone looks at Sona. Sona was blushing. Akeno chuckled. Yufufu, I didn't expect this one. Yura was surprised. No wonder he's been too nice to Kaichu. Kaicho was fit to his liking. Wow, I never expect he likes Kaichu. Meguri said while giggling. Tsubaki teased him, you really are interesting, Hyoudou-kun, for having that kind taste of a girl you like. Shut it, girls. You're not helping. Issei complained. Kuranai seems noticed. They went off topic. I think we better get going later. Issei-kun, let's go. Hakuryuku-kun, said Kuranai. Hakuryuku said, see you soon my rivals. He flies away from the sky with Kuranai until they're gone. Yui scratching her head and says so many things happened today that cadre, Hacker Yuku and lastly you Hyoudou-san. Issei groaned hey stop complaining since both of you are fated rivals and I have unintentionally joined this stupid rivalry, why so many things happen in one day. Man I'm so bored I need to eat thoughts or talk via telepathy thing or something lol. After the encounter of the Kokabiel and the sudden appearance of White Dragon Emperor, yet the battle was stopped by Kurenai after they left that Issei and Asia left the academy, he decided that he shouldn't meet Surziches for a while. The reinforcements from the Mayu arrived 20 minutes after Sona and her peerage noticed his absence, they decided to follow him until they found them at the park. Kuoh Park. Hyoudou-kun where you going? We're going to the Hotel Kaichu, Issei said. You're not going anywhere Hyoudou-kun since you're my servant you will stay at my place either you like it or not. You too Argento-san. Sona said it in serious tone. Kaichu you know that I'm a guy. Issei gave his reason. Only for that. Hyoudou-kun I have no problem having you stay at my place. Sona still insists to stay at her place since her peerage lives there. Rya says Hyoudou-san you should accept Kaichu offer. Momo said, Ice-kun it's fine for us if you stay with us. Ira said better accepted Issei-kun. Can I argue on this? Sona and her peerage said no. Issei sighed fine I will stay at your place Kaichu please take care of us he bows to them. Asia says please take care of us. She also bows to them. Everyone went to the Sitri's residence. And here's your room Hyoudou-kun feel free to change it as you see fit Sona gave him the key of his room, then she left with Asia to show her room. Issei grinned it's time to make my room makeover, those girls will be surprised the moment they see this, he starts cleaning and decorate his room, note. I forgot that he also have a dimensional bag the thing can hold everything. Morning at Sitri's residence. Sona decided to wake him up the moment she opens the door. Hyoudou-kun it's time to wake Sona was surprised his room is completely different, her thought says how's is this possible he managed to change his room over a single night. Uemo Kaichu good morning. Issei just woke up. Fancy room isn't it? His room turned into half of his room was turned into a little laboratory, while the other half is somehow normal, a bookshelf filled with mangas and a DVD set, while his little cabinet is filled with his Koh Academy school uniform and his other clothes. Hyoudou-kun did you do this by yourself? Sona asked. Issei nodded yes Kaichu I forgot to tell you that I have a dimension bag that can hold many of my belongings, so you like my total makeover? Sona says I can't say Hyoudou-kun I found this very odd, especially you have a mini lab. Issei scratch his head I see well oh by the way Kaichu don't be surprised if I'm making an artificial sacred gear, since it's my little hobby. Be what? Everyone heard her shout and they went to Issei's room. Kaichu what going? Is this Hyoudou-kun's room Tsubaki was surprised what she saw on Issei's room it's completely different. Wow is this really your room Issei-san? Yura was amazed of his room. Wow, Ice-kun is this really your room? Momo was awed of his room. Issei scratched his head yay it's my room. Rya says what's with the shout Kaichu? Sona was fixing her glasses and she says I was surprised he just said he can make an artificial sacred gear. BHH. Her peerage replies except for Asia since she knew about this during their travel. Hyoudou-kun you can make an artificial sacred gear. Said Tsubaki. Ira said, is that true Issei-san? Issei nodded and he says yes it's true that I make artificial sacred gear, yet I focused on based on Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, and other stuff. Note. Yes I made him a Toku fanboy and the same time a Taku, and he has a bit chunny V. Really Kamen Rider and Super Sentai? You mean you can make their belts and other stuff into a real thing? Said Yura she was surprised on her new companion. Issei scratched his head yes Yura-san, I made it real since most of them are in the beta stage until it's safe to use it in actual battle. Sona was very curious and she asks Hyoudou-kun tell me what Kamen Rider belts did you finished? Issei thought said yes Sona has interest on Kamen Rider on this world. This is weird honestly I expect Sarah was on this oh wait she's into Mahou Shoujo. Hyoudou-kun answer my question. Sona asked again. Okay so far I managed to complete Kabuto, Wizard, Kuga, Blade, Game, Drive, Phase and W, yet I haven't tried it on actual combat, said Issei. I see. Sona was satisfied on his answer. Don't worry Kaichu I'm still making the rest of it, especially on X8 Issei said it with assurance. Sona smiled, I see I will look forward on that Hyoudou-kun I shall take my leave. Then she left the room yet Issei didn't notice her leaving. What about the Super Sentai items do you possess Hyoudou-kun? Tsubaki asked this time. Issei thought says yet Tsubaki was into this. Man, this world is very odd indeed. Then he answers Tsubaki question well Tsubaki-san I made Gabur Revolver, Gakkai Moberates, Gakkai Silver Moberate and lastly the Dekaranger Master License. Tsubaki says I see the last one was your favorite right? Issei nodded yes it was I managed to use it twice during my travel with Asia. Tsubaki was very curious you managed to use it twice from what enemy? Stray devils, well it was fun, I end them with Vegas/Issei smirked. Ai-san was so very cool when he beat those strays, said Asia. Rya looks at the bookshelf and see what book he have. Wow, Issei-san, I didn't know that you read this kind of manga. She holds the Nisekoi manga. Note. I haven't read that manga yet. Why not, Rya-san? Do you think that I will put my other contents like eki and hentai content on the bookshelf? Kaichu is going to kill me if I did that. Said Issei. Well, his other thought says I will play safe this time since I learned my lesson at my old world. Issei remembers his precious collections was confiscated by Sona. Later on, they were burned into cinders. Oh, I still don't get it why you read a romance manga. Said Rya. Well, I love reading romance sometimes, and I got a feeling I can get the confidence to tell a girl I liked. Issei said it honestly. I see you using those mangas to reach her heart, aren't you? Said Tsubaki. Issei stammered. Wah. What are you talking about, Tsubaki-san? Really from Hufuku Kaichu? Momo asked. Meguri says. Momo, did you forget what girl did he liked? Oh, you mean he had a thing for a girl with glasses with a strict personality who could have fit that? Ah, giggles. Momo remembers. Issei flustered. Stop it, girls, it's not funny. Meguri giggled. Don't be like that, Hyoudou-kun. You know, Issei-kun, we're glad to support your love with Kaichu, said Yura. You know what, I'm going to the kitchen. Issei immediately left his room. Well, he can't stand being embarrassed by others. Tsubaki chuckled. He's such fun to tease. Meanwhile at the kitchen. Okay, since I'm here, time do some cooking. Issei starts getting ingredients. The girls were surprised what they see in the kitchen. He made various kind of food sets on the table. Hey, everyone, time to eat. Issei said happily. Then everyone went sit and starts eating. Wow, I didn't know you can cook, Ice-kun, said Momo while eating. This food is good, Issei-san, said Yura while eating chicken. Hyoudou-kun, is this one of your hobbies? Tsubaki asked. Issei scratches his head. Yeah, aside cooking, I'm also very good at baking, since I love baking cakes. Meguri says. How good are you in baking, Issei-kun? Well, I can't say, Meguri-san, since I don't brag how good I am, said Issei. Sona was curious, and she asks Hyoudou-kun, I'm curious since you're from the parallel world, how good my counterpart at baking? The girls went pale because of their king's question. Their thought said he wouldn't dare. Since the girls know how terrible when Sona bakes a cake, they've been suffered several times when she had a good mood. Yet Asia has no clue about it. I want to assure something, Kaichu, if I say this you won't gonna kill on me this matter. Issei wants to assure that he won't get pummeled by her. No, I won't, please proceed, Sona said at serious tone. Well, the Sona's peerage trembled and their thoughts say don't say it. While Asia's still eating. It was downright terrible, honestly. The taste, it's more powerful than Baal's power of destruction, can capable to kill a dragon king, no heavenly dragons. He said the blunt truth while his mind says I'm so sorry Sona, since you asked for it, please don't kill me. He was sweating bullets right now. Sona was raised her killing intent to his pawn for what he said to her counterpart. Baking skills were downright terrible. The worst part, he compares the taste of Baal's power of destruction, that capable to kill a heavenly dragons. The girls were frightened of their king's killing intent, while Asia was still clueless as ever. She's still eating. While Issei decided to add the good part, yet I decided to teach her a proper baking lesson. She was into it until she made her own delicious cake. I feel proud of her since I was the first person to taste it. He said happily on the last part, which is true, while his mind says I hope this one will work, please make it work. He was secretly praying this will work. Sona lowers her killing intent until it's gone. She was satisfied that her counterpart went well. The girls were relieved her killing intent is gone after eating their breakfast. Sona says Hyoudou-kun would mind too. Issei interjects. Kaichu, I don't mind teaching you on baking lessons since I already promised you that I will teach you phonic arts and some little crash course. Sona was curious about the last part. What is this, some crash course are you talking to? Issei says, well, if you don't mind, I decided to give you sword lessons. Sona raised her eyebrow. Sword lessons? Why sword lessons, Hyoudou-kun? Issei explains, well, Kaichu, it's safe to say this, that you can't always rely on magic every time, since the moment the enemy gets near you, you will end up defenseless. So to compensate that, I decide to teach you to defend yourself at close quarters. Meguri decided to ask, why did you choose sword lessons for Kaichu, Issei-san? Issei says, well, I decided to give her a sword that fits her. He opens the dimensional pocket and grabs the swords, and the Sona was surprised of the weapon he chose. Hyoudou-kun, what is that sword? Sona was very curious on the sword. Issei says, well, this is the lick blade. The moment you wield this, Kaichu, you will capable to use ice versions of your magic and some ice magic spells. He gave the sword to Sona. The sword appearance based on Ragnarok Online item Edge of Nat Sieger, the water elemental sword. The girls were surprised by the sword abilities could do. Sona asked, why are you giving me this sword, Hyoudou-kun? Sona feel amazed of the sword, and yet she feels comfortable with it. Well, Kaichu, to tell you the truth, that sword belongs to your counterpart, said Issei. So my counterpart capable using a sword? Issei says yes Kaichu, to be honest she was the one insisting me that she was to learn to use a sword, so I teach her everything I know about as a swordsman, and she manages to use several sword skills she learned from me. Meguri was surprised that Kaichu's counterpart was capable to use swords, and she asks Issei-sen, is it possible for me to learn those sword skills? Issei says of course you can Meguri-san, actually your counterpart capable to use almost all my sword related skills, to add the fact she was the best knight in our group. Really Meguri was surprised her counterpart was amazing feat. Of course why I should lie to you Meguri-san, since in my old world we were the best peerage on the underworld. Issei said it proudly. Sona and her peerage was surprised that their counterparts' team were the best. Tsubaki asks about my counterpart Hyoudou-kun. Issei notices this topic, they want to know their counterparts. Well Tsubaki-san, your counterpart is awesome honestly, since after I teach her everything I know about spear techniques she's almost untouchable. She was less reliant on her sacred gear, yet the moment she uses her balance breaker when we spar each other, she almost had me. Tsubaki was amazed her counterpart can put him run on his money. Wait, my counterpart managed to reach Mirror Alice balance breaker. Issei nodded yes, it was subspecies type balance breaker, I think it's called Nostalgia Mad Tea Party. What's my balance breaker could do Hyoudou-kun? Tsubaki wants to know more about her sacred gear could do. Issei tries to remember, and he said well the last thing I know is it was capable to summon 3 demons, has different abilities based on their mirrors, that's all I know. Tsubaki was satisfied on his answer, and she smiled at him and says I see, thanks for the info Hyoudou-kun, I guess I better reach that state, aside from that I will look forward to teaching me about spear lessons. Issei said sure, also you better forward for teaching you on Phonocard, since the queen needs to be a jack of all trades. Tsubaki says I will look forward into it. What about my counterpart Issei-kun? Yura asked. Issei chuckled, man, talking about counterparts, oh your counterpart, she was the best one especially on hand-to-hand combat. Yura feels like her counterpart wasn't special, you sound like my counterpart is weak. Issei shook his head, you know Yura-sen, you're completely wrong honestly, her martial arts skills were the best thing I know, she almost gave me a hard time, yet I managed to copy of her skills, and somehow I managed to learn my own skills. Yura feels satisfied with his answer, I see. Issei said, actually Yura-san, I will teach you those skills I learned from your counterpart and some special training that no devil shouldn't expect from this, so are into this. Yura smirked, I will look forward to that special training of yours. She wonders what special training she will get from him. Momo asked this time, what about my counterpart Issei-kun? Well Momo-chan, your counterpart was the best supporter along with Asia's counterpart in our group, since it's fine to tell you this that Asia used Revitalize last night, was your counterpart as one of her ability, said Issei. Really? Asia-san's counterpart is part of Kaichu peerage? Momo was surprised about this. Sona was surprised that Asia was a part of her counterpart peerage, her thought says this is interesting, Argento-san's counterpart was a part of my counterpart peerage, it's a shame I already used all my bishops, I guess I can recommend her to Riaz if Hyoudou-kun accepts. Asia was surprised about this since he never told her about this, is that true Ai-san? Issei nodded yes Asia, your counterpart was part of her peerage, since Riaz-san was a fully human, has no connections on any supernaturals, yet she was a close friend of mine in my old world. I see. I thought that my counterpart didn't exist on your old world, so what's my life on that world? Riaz surprised that her counterpart exists. Issei scratched his head, well Riaz and your counterpart was part, if I remember right, yes, Kiryu's counterpart and your counterpart were perverted duo girl version. Issei had admitted that he was a part of perverted trio before. Riaz was shocked about this, my counterpart is a pervert and the worst part a girl version of the degenerate duo. Issei-san, please tell me it's not true. Issei says sorry Riaz, and it true honestly, you have no idea how many times your counterpart shamed me, yet on that time, I was also a perverted with Mitsuda and Motohama, we were called perverted trio. Well everything went changed when I joined the student council. Riaz was surprised, he admits that he was a pervert. Far you were perverted back then. Issei says well I look in the peephole or hide in a locker at girls changing room. Momo asks this time you said you were changed because you joined the student council, right? Issei nodded yes I changed, it was because of her my life went complicated, he blushed at the last part, he remembers why he changed, it was because of Sona is the main reason why he tries to suppress of his perverted antics to impress her. Sona and her peerage surprised who is that person changed him. Tsubaki looks at him well her thought says so it was Kaichu's counterpart after all who changed him so much, I really guess he loves her so much. The girls, except for Tsubaki, was curious who is that girl who changed him. Asia asked who is that girl who changed you Ai-san? Issei says it was Kaichu's counterpart, she's the girl I fall in love with. He said something they shouldn't know, well his thought says shit not again, why always I get a good mood, I ended up telling them. Sona can't say about this revelation, she knows that it was her counterpart since he's from another world. Sona's peerage in Asia knows he meant on Sona's counterpart, yet they feel sad on him, since Sona's counterpart was killed along with their counterparts, such a tragic fate. Issei says Kaichu, don't get angry at me on this, since your counterpart was the main reason why I changed and survived, it wasn't for them I wouldn't be here in this world. It's fine Hyoudou-kun, we apologized about this, we won't ask about your tragic fate on your old world anymore. Sona was very sorry for her peerage asking him this kind of questions. Issei says it's fine Kaichu, I really don't mind it honestly since I basically told everyone's counterpart could do, and besides your counterpart told me that I have to move on and find someone who can motivate me to live on, and now I found it. Let me guess Hyoudou-kun, it was us, right? Said Tsubaki. Issei nodded, yes it is Tsubaki-sen, I can guess that portal send me here has given me a second chance, and I won't waste that chance. Issei was determined to save this world, he will prevent that monster from being unsealed, he won't fail this time. Ice-kun, can I ask the last question? Momo asked. Well sure, ask away Momo-chan. What's your relationship with our counterparts, your old world? Momo was very curious, she wants to know what his relations with their counterparts. Well, to be honest with you girls, my relationship with your counterparts is very complicated. Ask why, Issei-kun. Issei scratched his head, well all of them are my. He can't say it since he knows the moment he speaks about this, he sensed of impending doom. Rya was very curious on this, you're what Hyoudou-san? Issei sighed, since you asked for it they were my girlfriends, well his other thought said, well beep I'm done for. The girls were shocked about this info, all of them was blushing except for Rya. Tsubaki was blushing, my counterpart is one of Hyoudou-kun girlfriend, she starts imagining how her counterpart treats him. Flustered, my counterpart and Issei-kun. As lovers. Ice-kun and my counterpart as. Lovers. Momo was blushing. Asia was also blushing, I-san. And my counterpart were lovers, the next thing is she fainted. Issei sighed, geez I didn't expect this one will affect them so badly. Rya says, well it's not so bad Hyoudou-san, well tell us who's the main girl at your little harem. Honestly Rya-san, I don't feel like dying right now, I know that we're talking about my relationship with my counterparts, but talk about that main girls, that's something I can't say. Issei complained. Rya was surprised when she heard main girls, yeah? You just said have more than one main girl, right? The girls were curious about it, even Sona. Issei said, yay, what about it, while his other thought says, oh shit, not again. Do tell us, I'm sure the girls really wanted to know. Rya teased him. Sona was still flustered on the previous statement, just tell us Ice-kun. Well her thought says, I think I knew of one of the main girls, it could be my counterpart, since he mentions about her a lot, the second question is who is the other girl? Issei thought says, did she call me Ice-kun? Great, it seems I managed to get her increase her affection to me, wait a sec, this isn't right at all. Hey, Issei-kun, tell us who are those main girls? Yura asked him. Issei says, since you asked for it was Sona and Serafall, well his thought says, well damn, I just dropped another bomb. Sona and her peerage was shocked, the second person he mentioned. Tsubaki was off guard of this, she didn't expect this one, no way you fall in love with a Mayu in your world. Issei tries to correct her, actually Tsubaki Sera wasn't a Mayu on my old world. Yura was surprised on this, Serafall-sama is not a Mayu, why? Sona was very curious why her sister counterpart is not a Mayu, how is that possible, Ice-kun? Issei explains, well to be honest with you girls, she asked me if she wants to be a Mayu or not, and I just told her what possibly happened the moment she accepts it. And she refuses that offer after you told her? Sona kinda knew the answer. Issei nodded, yay, she refused it, and her reason is if I became a Mayu, that means I will have no time for Sotan, I will not accept it. That what she said. Sona facepalmed about her one Isama's counterpart decision. Issei decided to change her topic anyway, Kaichu, aren't you gonna enroll me at school and become part of the student council? Thank you for reminding me, Ice-kun, if you excuse me I will go to the academy to enroll you before I go, what's your position at your previous world? Sona almost forgot that she needs to enroll him in the academy. Issei says, treasurer, since I'm very good in numbers. I see, I shall be going then, tomorrow you will be part of the student council again, said Sona, since she knows that he was a part of the student council at his old world. The next day at Kuoh Academy. Why I'm so nervous, I know I've been here at this school last night, but re-attending this school again, yet for some reason it gives me some nostalgia feelings. Issei thought. Relax partner, everything will be fine since you're going to meet your friend's counterpart, especially those girls we didn't meet on our arrival in this town. Well, that is true, today we will meet Kiryu and the Kendo girls' counterparts, since I already noticed the Kendo girls has sacred gears, I think I already recognize on Murayama, while on Kiryu honestly, her counterpart is completely different, it's way better than we expected, do you guys sense it? Yes, I can sense it too, kid, I wonder what power she have, for some reason it terrifies me. Same here, my instinct tells me she's dangerous to be approached, we must be careful partner. I know well we will find out soon. I can sense Kiryu will be filled on Sona's second rook on this world, just like in our old world. Everyone, we have new transfer student, please come in. As the teacher says. Issei enters the room. Then hello everyone, I'm Hyoudou. Issei, please take care of me. He introduced to everyone. End of the here. So that's it for today's video guys. Before you go, just like the video and share it with your friends. Bye.